Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today Sanguinius Week rumbles on. But before I go any further, a big thank you to Tom's Models on Instagram for the virtual gift voucher. He's a painter of 40k models on Instagram, guys, so if you've got an account, why not give him a follow? But once again, thank you very much for your support. But on to today. Today we discuss Sanguinius becoming the Emperor. Spoiler warning to begin, the events we are discussing today are from the Horus Heresy novel The Unremembered Empire. And as I always say, I really recommend you read these novels for yourself first, because that's the best way to enjoy the lore, for yourself. Not only that, but we help to support the great Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Now, after surviving the events on Cygnus Prime, Sanguinius made it through the warp storms to the realm of Ultramar. And Sanguinius' arrival was truly timely, because it came at a very tense moment in the time of Ultramar. Comrade Kurz has been causing chaos, no pun intended, upon Macragge, and Lion L. Johnson almost invaded Macragge itself. So things are a little tense between him and Guilliman, to say the least. But a big reason for this is Guilliman's desire to found the Imperium Secundus, a second Imperium, to keep the flame of hope alive, at least until they can be sure whether the Emperor still lives, and terror still stands. The Lion of course sees this as Rabute wanting to play Emperor, and Rabute in turn just can't quite trust the Lion enough. But when the Angel arrives, both brothers can agree on him. Imperium Secundus represents continuity, Guilliman said. Since Calfit has been all I can do to hold the fractured parts of the 500 worlds together. Ultramar is all that we know we have. If the Imperium endures, then we will rejoin it when the storm dies. But if it has not endured elsewhere, then we have preserved it here. Guilliman had sat in the seat marked with the cobalt blue of his legion. Likewise, the Lion had placed himself in the seat covered by the Dark Angels. Sanguinius had chosen to remain standing. He paced, troubled but thoughtful. Rabute has made this argument to me at length, said the Lion, and though I have been troubled by some of its details, I find myself seeing the value of it more and more. How so? Asked the Angelic Lord. The Lion sat back, his hands flat upon the edge of the table. The events of last night alone, he said in a quiet tone, have made me value life and kinship more than ever. We have lost another brother, and Macragge, great heartstone of the 500 worlds, was almost brought low by the deeds of just one demented traitor. I have witnessed the venom of our enemy, and I have seen the sad fragility of those assets and lives that remain to us. Rabute and I do not think alike on many subjects. We disagree, but we also stand together. Loyal. We fight for the Imperium. This is all the Imperium that we have. I really like that statement by the Lion. He admits, look, me and Rabute are very different. It's hard for us to get along, but we are loyal. That we do not doubt. For all the difficulties relating, differences in personality and mindset with each other, he and Guilliman know they both will remain loyal. But Regent, Sanguinius said, that smacks of usurpation. It smacks of necessity, replied Guilliman. If Terra and our father have gone, then so has Malcador. We must rally our shattered strength before it is too late. Neither the Lion nor I can stomach the other assuming the role, but we are unanimous when the choice is you. You always were the most like our father, said the Lion. That point comes up a lot, that Sanguinius is most like the Emperor. It's quite often used in the War Master debate, but Sanguinius himself said that it's why he couldn't be War Master, because of the symbol of what he is. A war master can only walk the field of battle, never soar above it. But Emperor, now that is different entirely. The point of Sanguinius being most like the Emperor doesn't mean physically, at least to me. It means symbolically. What he represents. There's a great passage earlier in the novel that sums it up perfectly. He is more like his father in that respect. Some of the Primarch lords are very much of the flesh. Horus is one, and your Lord Guilliman another. They have physicality. But the Emperor, to be in his presence, is to be in the presence of that which is spiritual, and has no constant form. It is said the Emperor appears to each man in the image that the man wishes to see. Lord Sanguinius has inherited much of that trait. Uton nodded. It is true. I do not think of him as a face or a figure. I think of him as a light. The very colour of his hair and his eyes seems to change with his mood, and with mine. This has been noted by others, Dola agreed. Several of the other Primarchs have this quality beyond simple physical stature, but none more than Sanguinius. I really feel that sums up the aura of Sanguinius brilliantly. It's a great piece of writing there, that like the Emperor, people see what they want to see when they look to Sanguinius. And that line about the very colour of his eyes and hair seems to change with his moods, or the moods of the people looking at him. A quality beyond physical stature. But the Primarch's conversation continues. Sanguinius looked up at the light of the storm spilling through the chamber's high windows. "Let me say, brother," said Guilliman, "you showed no great delight in being delivered from the storm and reunited with us. You seem troubled and burdened. That tear marked beneath your eye, is that a new notation of your anguish?" "We have all seen troubles," said Sanguinius. "Brothers fight and fall, and the stars die. Demons walk abroad. I fear the old night steals in upon us anew. I would rage against that." "Then make your stand here, for now," said Guilliman. He stood up. "Take this oath of moment, and I will make a pledge. The first moment the storm abates, the first moment we see the light of terror, or hear word that she still stands, I will light my ship drives, and, with all measure of my forces, guide your legion back to the homeworld. There will be no delay or argument. We do not build a second empire here. We maintain the original, founded anew on this globe as circumstance demands." "You would make this pledge to me?" asked Sanguinius. "With all solemnity," Guilliman replied. "And you will back this?" Sanguinius asked the lion. "With my blood," replied the lion. Sanguinius sighed. "I noticed in the hours since I set foot upon the soil of Macragge, there are no remembrances in your court, nor in the lions." He regarded them. "Is this mere coincidence?" "Discretion," Guilliman replied. "If terror stands, then future generations may see, whether true or not, a heresy and usurpation in the foundations we make here. I would not stain the memory or legacies of the loyal sons with such a smirch, however unintentioned. Therefore, I did conclude early in my deliberations that no piece of this undertaking should become history, until history it needs to be. No chronicles will be made, no remembrances charged to observe this business. If Ultramar is all the Imperium we have, then in due time, and with great effect, its histories will be written, and will become the single Imperial record. But, if terror yet survives, as I most dearly hope, then this will become, in future days, an unremembered empire. An unthinkable act undone and unfought." Sanguinius took a deep breath. "Then it is down to us. We three decide," he asked. "There is only us," said the lion, rising to his feet. "Tell us, Sanguinius," Gilliman said. "Which seat will you take at this table?" And so Sanguinius accepts the role as Emperor. And to the cheering masses of untold thousands, Sanguinius is enthroned, decreed Emperor of the Imperium Secundus. And this act is something that really plays heavily on him. He doesn't like it. He doesn't truly want it. But he's allowed himself to see his brother's points of view. And as so often he does, he puts the interests of others, of the people, above his own. It's really interesting. I can't wait to see if Sanguinius unburdens all of his doubts and troubles about it to the Emperor when they finally speak again during the siege. He's been desperate to do so since he returned to Terra. But honestly, I really think he'll just get a simple, "I know, my son," and there's nothing to forgive. Now, we know the Emperor couldn't see Ultramar during the Ruin Storm, but the second that passes, you have to believe he was able to see the far side of the galaxy again. There's no way he wouldn't reach out as soon as he sensed it, or at least read Sanguinius' mind upon his arrival to Terra. Sure, we know the Emperor is busy upon the Golden Throne, but he has communicated with his son psychically countless times whilst being on there. I have to believe he is fully aware of the events that transpired in Ultramar. But what do you think of Sanguinius agreeing to be the Emperor? Was it the right choice? Or the wrong one? Is he the most like his father out of all the Primarchs? Physically speaking, I've always thought it was Corax. But as a symbol, it has to be Sanguinius. As always guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below. I love to read them. A huge thank you to all my subscribers. Your support really means a lot to me. It truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and Sanguinius Week returns tomorrow.